What's up, Video Fort Nation? I'm Magic Bard, and for today we're going to be going through a cup jump effect. Really, it's a perspective effect, so it's fairly simple to do. Just a couple of tweaks here and there. You're going to jump into a cup, we're going to make a splash, we're going to have some fun really fast. Happy July 4th, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. But before we get started, I want to give a couple of shout outs to the Sheriff one, Suresh, and Ali Somali. Really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for the love. I love to see you guys on there. And if you guys are new to Video Fort, hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell icon right next to it, so that way you'll be notified every time we put out an epic tutorial every single week. You'll learn visual effects, we'll have fun, and with that being said, let's jump into the tutorial. Alright guys, so first let me show you how I shot this. So of course the camera is just down on the ground and I have it kind of pointed up just a tad, and then we have the shot of our actress jumping into the cup, okay, or pretending like she's jumping into a cup when she's really just jumping on some pads on the ground. Then the next part, and this is, as you can see, it's just recording the whole way through. The next part is me dropping a rubber ball or a rubber rock object into the cup to create that splash, okay? And then the next part, and as you can see, just barely the cup scoots over to the right, and you don't want that to happen, okay? So when you do the trick, try to drop the ball or your rock or whatever closer to your cup so you don't have to deal with this little maneuver right here. And then of course the last scene where she picks it up and walks away. So first things first, let's drag our clip into a new composition and let's start to edit it. So what we're going to do here is trim this down. So let's find where we're going to start this clip, and probably when she starts to walk into it at about here. So let's trim this down to here, go to the part where she jumps in, and then find that last frame about right there. Hit Command Shift D to split the clip, okay? And we'll call this our 01 begin. So this is the beginning of the clip. And then of course I jump in there, grab some stuff out, and now we want to find the splash right here. So let's see. Get my arm shadow out of it. Okay, so we'll start the splash at about there. So I'll trim it down, move it over, and let's see. So we've got our splash. Okay, good. And then what we'll do is, I'm just watching the shadow, making sure I don't really get in there. Maybe at about here, split it again, Command Shift D. So as you guys can tell, when you have shadows like this, there could be a lot of issues you run into. So to make this shot even easier, don't do it when the sun's out, okay? Or do it like after sunset. That's also a good time to do this type of effect, because then, and also you don't want to spill as much water as I did, because then you have to deal with stuff like the water receding on the ground. Okay, and then we're gonna cut again right until she comes back into the shot. So that's our end. Okay, and Sam grabs cup. Okay, and then we have our 02 splash, and I'll just give this a 03. Okay, so now what we want to do is start to mash these clips together. So I'm going to take all these, bring them to the beginning, and then just press, or you can drag this guy into here, right click, and trim comp to work area. So let's just size it down so we know what we're working with right here. And then now we want to line up her diving into this with a splash. So what I'm going to do is at about here, I'll take this splash, kind of move it over. I'm going to hit that T for opacity, turn it down 50%, and start to line up the splash and her. So this kind of looks good at about there. Alright, cool. So I'll do it with that. And what you want to do is take your splash and bring it under your beginning clip of her jumping in, right? And then you can turn the opacity back up to 100. And then what we're going to do is start to mask from here on. So I'm going to press the plus sign to zoom in here, see what we're working with. I'm going to take this pen tool and then start to mask around her. Okay, so first, before I do the mask, I want to cut this clip. So Command Shift D to split that again. Alright, so now we're working with these two. And let's create that mask. And I'm going to go just barely trim this cup, because an issue that we're going to have to deal with is the cup moving as the rock goes into it. Okay, so you kind of see what we're doing right here. So she's gonna boom, jump into it, and right as her hand gets down, that's when the cup moves. So that looks real. Okay, and then open this up, go to your masks, and what we're going to do is keyframe the mask path. So click on that stopwatch, and then by pressing the page down button, start to keyframe this mask, okay? And I'm gonna go with the arrow tool and just move these guys in with her. And then we can also turn up the feathering as well. So turn it up a bunch, maybe 55 is good. And then just start to really bring this in as her hair comes down. Okay, I'm gonna bring this in right here. Cool. Page down, do some more, and boom. So we're good right here, and we can just trim this clip since we no longer see her in the shot. Now let's kind of zoom out, see what we've got, and I'll just page up, page down to show you what we just created. So she jumps in, water starts to splash, covers her, and guys, that looks actually really good. So the only issue is on a windy day, this cut, and let me just close this down so you can see it, this cut right here will show imperfections. So if there's a tree and it's moving on a windy day, you'll see that. If you see over here, you can see just barely, this thing moved during this cut. We can cover that up later in editing, and I'll show you how. But, these are things to look for when you're shooting this, right? Okay, so she jumps in and makes a splash. Looking good. Cool, I like that. I'm going to press the minus sign to zoom out. And right here, now we need to deal with this transition right here. So I'm just going to go with a fade, basically. So I'm going to open this up just a bit and hit that T for opacity. Bring the playhead to the very end of this clip. Press the keyframe for the opacity at 100%. Bring it back to the beginning again. I'm going to actually stretch it out so it's 1 second long. And bring the opacity down to 0. And let's see what that looks like. So I'm just page down. Okay, and that actually works. And what I'm looking at is this water receding. So we're shooting this out in California, where it's incredibly Southern California, where it's really hot out right now. So the water's drying really quickly, but this still looks pretty good. And guys, this is the crux of the effect. This is the basic, this is how you do it. So let's just hit N. I'm going to hit B over here, and I'm just going to ramp preview what we did on those edits. Okay, cool. That looks good. I like how the water splashes on the lens as well. Okay, sweet. So this is how it's going to look. So once you've created your edit right here, which is what we just did, now what we want to do is trim it down even some more, zoom out, and make sure just everything is trimmed down. So I'm gonna hit B to bring this to the beginning, to bring our in point to the beginning, and then trim comp again. So now we're completely fit in here. This is gonna be our trick right here. And now what we're gonna do is take our composition, so I'll call this the edited cup jump. And I'm gonna take this comp, drag it into a new comp, okay, and make sure this comp is in the settings that you plan to export at. So if you're exporting in, I don't know, maybe Instagram, go to composition settings, and type in for your width 1080 and then your height 1350. So that's like the Instagram format, right? So do that and then kind of resize your frame down and then put it in the center. And there you go. Now you guys can start adding the wiggle effect. So with your clip selected, press P for your position, right or alt click on the position and type in wiggle and maybe 1.5 comma 15. Okay, enter. And then what that's going to do is 1.5 times a second. This clip, the position, will wiggle 15 frames. All right, and you can see that. So now it doesn't look like it's on a tripod. It looks like someone is holding it. And let me just kind of zoom in just a little bit more. And boom, guys, now you are done with your effect. And let me just RAM preview this so you can see what's going on. Okay, so that looks pretty good. She jumps into the cup, looking good. And probably one more thing you can add is go to layer, new, null object, and then parent this to the null. So take this pick whip tool, drag it over the null and let go. So now you can see that's parented to the null. And we can start to move this null around. So hit P for our position. And what we'll do is start this over on the right where she walks in, keyframe that, and she walks in, and then just have that follow her over to the cup. Okay, like that. And she dives in there. And then you can even throw in some zooms as well. So if you just hit that S for scale, you can zoom in there too. So I can, you know, maybe go like from here, start at 100, and maybe zoom in there. Hit that P, go up. So then it's like boom, boom. I'm gonna delete this one. So bam. And then maybe I'll zoom out here. Zoom back out. Hit that P for the position, move it up. Okay, and you guys can really play around with that. Just make the camera movement you want and you should be good. Alright guys, I hope this one was easy for you. Kind of get through it really quickly, and at the same time you'll learn the basics of After Effects, or at least I hope that's what comes across. If this tutorial helped you out at all, please leave us a like and let us know in the comment section if there's any visual effects or little movie magic tricks that you guys would like to learn that you've seen on Instagram, you've seen on Facebook, other YouTube accounts, whatever that is. Let us know and we'll get to them as soon as possible. Happy July 4th. Have an awesome day. Shoot off some fireworks. Have some fun. Do it legally. And we'll see you guys on the next one. This is Video Fort. I'm Magic Bard, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Twice.